Why is the inn cheaper in Poor than it is in Dorino? Because the people of Poor are poor! Ha 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 ha. I'll see myself out now. Oh, hi there, and welcome back to part 20 of Chrono Trigger. Today we are going to be continuing our adventure on the Denadoro Mountains, and you probably should use a shelter at that save point. I didn't do that last part, you probably want to do that. We have a boss fight coming up in the very, very near future, so yeah, you want to be healed up. You can also grab a mid-ether there, climb down this ladder, and then if you look very, 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 very carefully, you will occasionally see a sparkle over here. There's a hidden speed capsule. It is one of the hardest items in the entire game to spot, and it's worth picking up, because it's a speed capsule, yay. And then there's also a hidden chest right here that contains a golden suit. Very useful item that you definitely want to pick up, and then we can continue on our journey. And then there's that stupid freelancer who's still throwing rocks at us. Boy, can't you wait to just kill that stupid freelancer. Hop down the ladder, you can grab a shelter. Now keep in mind, once you go down the ladder, you can't get back up. Anyways, we invite 3 Ogans. Same story as basically everything I said last part. If they don't have a hammer, just whack away at them. They're not that difficult of an enemy to fight. In fact, they're almost too easy to fight. Now, we're almost to the end of this mountain. There's only 2 sets of battles to fight. This is one of them. If you try to climb up the ladder, the freelancer is going to knock you down. How rude. And guess what? When you try to climb up the ladder now, he's still gonna knock you down. And then, if you try to walk up the ladder again, he's gonna throw a rock at you. So, let's be honest here. You really want to kill him. I know you really, really want to kill him. So kill him. He deserves to die for all the pain and suffering he has caused us by throwing rocks at us. If you time it right, you might be able to use Flamethrower on both of the Ogans if you're lucky. The odds that they're going to form that way are pretty slim, but it doesn't hurt to try to get lucky. Otherwise, just use Flamethrower twice and knock the hammers off the Ogans. I actually screwed that up because I could have hit the second freelancer. You can use Flamethrower to hit the freelancer in the back as well, and that will make this fight considerably easier. Other than that, it's not that difficult to fight this battle. It's the same enemies we've been fighting the whole time. After you finish up this battle, you are definitely going to want to make sure you're topped off on hit points, because we have not one, but 2 boss battles. It's not really 2 boss battles, it's a 2-part boss battle. So it is definitely one of the hardest boss fights we have yet to fight in the game. And with that being said, you definitely want to be topped off in the health department. It'll help out considerably being at full health. If you want, you can switch off party members, it's no big deal. And that is all there is to the rest of the Denadoro Mountains. So let's go fight us a boss. Now, if you want to go heal, save, grind on levels, I don't know, you can fall down the waterfall right here. Be very careful. It's a long way back to the top if you fall down that waterfall. I just thought I'd point it out in case you wanted to keep it in mind. Why is there a child here? What is this place? And why is the child stopping me from going and touching the bright shiny sword? The Masamune. Yeah, sure, the Masamune. I hear that's a legendary sword. I mean, I might as well get something for this trip up the mountain. Huh. These are some strange children. Oh, we're gonna be tested? Well then. Masamune, the first form of a two-part boss battle, and it's actually a pretty tricky one at that. Now there is a huge trick that makes this boss battle a lot easier. There's two of them. You only have to kill one of them. They both have 1,000 hit points. And if you attack Mune and not Masa, Mune does not counterattack you. If you attack Masa, you're going to get the extra counterattack dealt to you. So, for this first stage of the boss battle, you want to put all of your efforts into attacking Mune. And remember, you can't counter a counterattack. Well, yeah, they just used X Strike normally. That wasn't a counterattack. You can't counter a counter no matter what. So if you have like something that counters somebody, they can't counter you back. So this boss battle really isn't that tricky. I recommend using Luca's fire magic, and if you have Marla on your party, use her ice magic as well. I recommend the trio of Chrono, Marla, and Luca for this boss fight. I don't have it with me, but it will. I just feel like the magic combination of Marla and Luca is a little bit more solid. So keep that in mind. After you fight them, they're going to be like, whoa, they're actually pretty strong. So let's fight them for real. Joy. With Masa's bravery and Mune's brains. It is time to fight Masamune. Well, it's actually listed as Masa and Mune, but I like calling it Masamune better. Boss Battle Round 2 with Boss Battle 2 music playing. This time around, this guy has 3,600 hit points. This is undoubtedly your strongest boss fight yet. And there's also something very important about this boss battle. He has an incredibly strong counterattack that can only be cancelled out with wind magic. Guess who has wind magic? That would be Chrono with his Wind Slash. So you have to be very careful watching out for that. You want to pay very close attention to what they're saying, and if it says charging up wind energy, you gotta use Wind Slash immediately. If you get hit by his wind magic spell, it's going to do a ton of damage to everybody on your party. So you'll have to take some time to heal up. So for this battle, I recommend having Chrono kind of on standby. After he uses the wind magic spell once, you can probably use an attack or two with Chrono right away. And then after you use an attack, just have him sit on standby waiting to use Wind Slash. This boss battle is very lengthy, and with dual techs you can probably knock out about 300 to 400 hit points. Marla and Luca's Antipode Bomb is a little bit stronger in my opinion. That's why I like using them better, or more I should say. Let's see, I'm going to use Supersonic Spin and I'm going to heal up. Since I don't have a really good healer, I'm just going to use magic this time, or I'm just going to use potions this time around. Now his attacks are pretty hard hitting. Like I said, this is definitely your hardest boss battle up to this point. Do I think it's impossible to fight this for a beginner? No, not at all. Most of his attacks are gonna hit a single target for a reasonable amount of damage. It's just the Wind Slash attack. If you let him use it, it's going to ruin your day. Now there is somebody down in Dorino, I think, who states that you should use wind magic to counter wind magic or something. I don't actually remember talking to the guy in the last video, so I might have actually missed that guy. But if you do talk to everybody, somebody said that you should use wind magic against wind magic or something. So it's very important to note because it does help you immensely with this boss battle. If you don't figure that out, good luck. This is a hard boss battle. If you did figure out that you're supposed to use Wind Slash, good for you. It's a really easy boss battle. Well, it's significantly easier than if you didn't use Wind Slash. Now, other than that, there isn't much to say about this boss fight. This is an endurance test. Most boss battles become endurance tests once you know how to fight them correctly, and this is definitely a test of endurance. Ow, that's a lot of hit points of damage. Oh no! Oh god, I screwed up. I'm gonna get hit by the wind spell. I think he's gonna, if he, yeah. No! Baby! 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 I got it! He didn't counter me. I feel very happy right now. If you, like, attack about, like, if your gauge is filling up and then you use something other than Wind Slash, you're probably not going to have time to use Wind Slash the second time. There is a very small gauge of time to basically use Wind Slash. If you screw up, the odds of you getting Wind Slash off the second time are very slim. So you have to have Chrono ready to use that. Otherwise, you're probably going to get countered. Anywho, that's Masamune for you. They are pretty fun to fight. I have to admit they are the first boss. Well, no, Zombor was probably the first real difficult boss, but Masamune is definitely up there as you're finally getting into the meat of Chrono Trigger. We're finally fighting some real full-fledged boss battles that take a lot to knock them down. With that being said, we can claim the Masamune, the legendary sword that is said to be able to slay the Fiend Lord Magus. Unfortunately, the sword isn't looking too good. It's looking pretty broken. Well, that's a problem. Well, we can ride to the base of the mountain. Yay! Whee! How kind of Masamune to let us fly to the bottom of the mountain. Take some time to heal up at an inn, heal, do whatever you need to do, and then our next location is going to be Tata's home. Alright, heading down to Tata's house, you can talk to the naughty little urchin, and he'll apologize. He apparently plucked the badge from the floor of the tavern from a froggish fellow. Well, that's interesting. I wonder what froggish fellow that could be. So he really isn't the hero. And he's going to give you the hero's badge. Now, the hero's badge at this point in the game is actually completely useless, but later on it will be an accessory for a certain froggish creature, and it will boost the critical hit rate of the Masamune. It's important to keep that in mind. It will be very helpful of an item later on to use. So our next location is actually to the Cursed Woods to find this froggish creature. So walk into the Cursed Woods, you can grab a mid potion, and then there are two new enemies we can fight here. There isn't too much difficult to fight here. It is the edible frogs and the fang tooth. Now, I actually screwed this up. You don't want to attack the frogs. There's a reason behind this. You want to attack the fang tooths. So when you attack the fang tooths, there's a chance that the fang tooth will use a counterattack. But he won't use it on you. He'll actually use his counter on the edible frog. He'll basically eat the frog. And when he eats the frog, he'll use the frog to heal up. So attacking the fang tooth saves you the trouble of having to deal with the edible frog's counterattack, which is basically it's a sap spell. There's a lot of sap spells throughout the game. What a sap spell does is once you get hit by it, it'll slowly sap your health as the battle progresses. It's kind of like poison in a sense, similar to Pokemon, except it just ticks away at your health. So you want to kind of avoid that. Ooh, I just picked up a lot of good techs. Okay, let's go over some techs. The first of the techs I picked up is Cleave. Cleave basically will double your basic attack damage. It costs 4 MP, it's a lot of MP. I don't really find it to be that good of a spell. I find Cleave to be more useful for the dual techs it enables. You can pick up Fire Sword, which is a dual tech between Chrono and Luca, and this will strike foes with a really powerful Fire Sword. Pretty solid move, and then you can also pick up Cyclone Sweep, which will allow you to spin through your enemies. Costs a lot of magic points, but it's a pretty decent move. So there's some more spells for you. You'll also unlock Ice Sword with Marla, but I haven't unlocked that yet. I'll explain that at a later point in time. You can pick up a shelter here, and then we can fight another batch of edible frogs and the Fangtooth. I just find the name Edible Frog hilarious. Edible Frog. Again, same strategy. You want to attack the Fangtooth will then proceed to eat the frog. I just find it so amusing. So that strategy will definitely make getting through this forest a lot easier. Now you can go through this forest without fighting any enemies. I recommend you walk through here just for the sake of picking up experience and whatnot. I also picked up the Robo Tackle tech, which is basically a pretty straightforward attack. It's very similar to Cleave, you just kind of hit one target and yeah. Now if you come over here, there is a very small chance you can trigger a little scene that will allow a new to appear. NU, the enemy new. Now, I don't know if it's likely you'll find a new here, but if you're interested in finding a new, you can. News are pretty interesting enemies. They have 2 attacks, one that will drop your health to 1 hit point, and 1 attack that will deal 1 hit point of damage. So it's kind of like a rare occurrence event. If you can't get it to occur, you should just re-enter the area, because it only appears sometimes. I think I've heard that standing like between the 2 trees right below this battle, and you wait a few seconds, will maybe trigger it. So you can find the new here. It's not a big deal if you can't find the new, but it's just a cute little interesting thing that you can find. They also drop Mops, which is a weapon that Chrono can use. It has 1 strength and does like 0 damage. I don't recommend it. But yeah, like somewhere stand around here and maybe you can trigger a new to appear. Not a big deal, just thought I'd point that in mind. Now there is a little hidden area right back here that you can find. And this will lead to a secret little base that belongs to none other than Frog. Yay! So he'll come in. Now you can come here earlier and you'll actually mumble something about, oh, the king is injured. We may be. I didn't come here earlier, but you can do that. You can pick up a magic scarf. Now after you have the hero's badge, you can talk to him and he'll be like, I see, you have met the lad. And then he's going to be hard on himself and say that he's not worthy of the Masamune and the blade's broken and he has no right to wield it. And he will ask to be left alone. Well, that was depressing. I came out of my way to visit you and that's how you treat me? How rude. So, there's going to be a glowy little spot and you will find, well, what is this? The broken sword hilt that belongs to the Masamune. Something is written in archaic script. R-O-I-H-C-L-E-M. Royclem? What? What? Error! He reversed the order. Good job, Robo! It actually says Melchior! Melchior, that guy from Medina. Huh. Well, how is that possible? He's from 400 years in the future. Huh. Interesting. Alright, well, next stop is to Medina. So I'm going to cut the video. I will meet you there. Oh, hi there, Melchior. What's up? I have a question for you. You see, we happen to obtain this sword that has your name on it from 400 years ago. What's the deal? So he's gonna tell us a little story about the Masamune. Wait. Luca's gonna ask a question. Can he reforge it? I wanted to hear his story. Come on, Luca. So he's gonna tell you, yeah, I could reforge it, but you need something called Dreamstone. Yeah, you can't find it. You see, it's from a really, really, really long time ago. And he's like, I doubt you're ever gonna find any of this because, you know, it doesn't exist anymore. So, yeah. So, where can we get our hands on some Dreamstone? Well, see, what Melchior doesn't know is we have the ability to transcend time. Where can you find Dreamstone? In the land of dinosaurs. 65 million BC. So how do we get to 65 million BC? Well, there is a portal at the end of the time that leads to Mystic Mountains in 65 million BC. So that is our next location. We'll do that next time. Thank you, and good night.